And I was at my random house over in upstate New York 2 summers ago, and I'm starting to understand the conspiracy. Like, those are the actual conspiracies. Those aren't even true. But this guy comes in, he goes, yeah, I was born Catholic, but by the way, this was actually last summer because I was starting to come into the faith. And he goes, yeah, by the way, it's not real. There's the white pope who does everything, and then you have the black pope who, and it's not color of skin, it's just, I guess, their robe or their title. And then you have the actual pope. And the way he said it so confidently, and at the time I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, yeah, I probably believe blah, blah, blah. But then I started going down actual history by the Vatican Church and then comparing it to what we were taught. Say the French Revolution was the best thing that's ever happened. Then you look at France and you go, was it? And then you say, okay, what about the Russian Revolution where 80, 90 million people died? And then you start learning about who was actually in government and trying to usurp and what actually happened and who's actually killed. And you go, was it really a revolution? And then you started learning about how wars were started. World War I, how it started. Who was trying, is what, Franz Ferdinand or whatever it is, assassination or was assassinated. I was just learning about that literally last week on the treadmill. I was like, nothing we learned was accurate. Truly the reason. Everything was a Trojan horse. So to your question, what do you think about the Catholic Church is the real church, but has been infiltrated by Satan? Whether it's infiltrated or not, it's not going to fall. Christ already said that. Nothing, the gates will not prevail. Even if it's been infiltrated, are there parts? Yes. There is a book that I was going to buy from a woman in 1960 or right after 1960, 61, 62. She was a nurse. This guy comes in after being into an accident. She's searching for his ID. He's in the emergency room, and she's searching for his ID to call somebody or to at least inform the family, by the way, there's no ID, nothing. And then the doctor leaves, and there's a briefcase, and she starts going through the briefcase to see if there's an ID. She sees no ID. This guy's got no ID. He's got nothing. And he's in an accident. They've no one to talk to. And then she starts reading through the files. This is a book. I'm actually probably going to read it. And in the files, it talks about there was 1,100 priests in the seminary that are communist in the 1960s. And that this guy was essentially bullet pointing how they were going to infiltrate the Catholic Church. The thing is that Satan will never be able to take over Christ's church. Never be able to take over. It could just be the Pope and you and I. It doesn't matter. It could just be one or two believers left. The Catholic Church cannot be taken over. The gates will not prevail. That's a promise. There's two other things, even though I just did four. There's two other things that I do want to bring up. Number one is, regardless of, obviously before this Pope Francis or Pope Leo XIV or your local bishop or your local priest, or they say something that's blasphemous, obviously there is clarification on all religions lead to God. Obviously people did not like that when Pope Francis said that. This is the number one thing to say about it, is that your soul is more important than anything else. So you have to go to confession, you have to remain in a state of grace, and you have to take the Eucharist. The Eucharist is the body, blood, soul, and divinity of our Lord. Even if the Pope is not a good Pope or whatever, the Catholic Church is going nowhere. By the way, do you understand how many bad popes we've had? Do you understand at one time we had 3 popes? We had 3 popes at one time, okay? So, talk about a little bit of confusion for Catholics, okay? There were not good popes, okay? This whole notion of like, we're living in the worst times, we're living in the we're not. There were way worse times than right now. Imagine there were 3 popes right now saying, I'm the Pope. No, I'm the Pope. No, I'm the Pope. Look it up. It happened, okay? Right now is nothing. Okay, we just need faith, prayer, fasting, abstinence, teach the truth, be truthful, proclaim the gospel. Don't have noodleheads like me in New York City being the only one that goes live for 2.5 hours and talks about it. I'll get to REM. That's amazing. I just see ex-Muslim, so I'll get that in a second. CF, thank you for, I don't know what CF is. Sorry, I'm not the biggest world traveler. But going back to that, is that you have to worry about your soul first of all. Now you're in a state of grace. Now you have to bring your friends and family members, so they're in a state of grace. We're not worried about the Pope. We're not worried about the bishop, the archbishop, the cardinals, or anyone else. We're praying for them. I pray every single day for the Vatican, for Pope Leo, the cardinals, the bishops, the archbishops, the priests, the seminarians. I pray for them all, the deacons. I pray for them every single day after Mass. I go to St. Martin de Porres. He's got his beautiful statue right there. I literally just did it today, 3 hours ago. I take the Eucharist. Church is over. I'm always in the front row. Prostrate, or genuflect, I should say. Do the sign of the cross. Go to the right. They do prayers that continue for another 15 minutes. I have to get back to work, but as long as I am there, I've already done the rosary and already did my consecration, so it's not like I'm skipping out because the Mass has ended and then they want to do extra prayers. I pray every single day for the Vatican and everything else. But you know what I also do? I pray for the conversion of those that have fallen away from the Catholic faith, those that are Protestant, those that are anti-Catholic, those that are not praying, those that are in despair, those that are homeless, those that are going through health or money or depression or any of these things that are being cured by Big Pharma. You know what I went online to look up? Someone was like, oh, I have this blotch thing on my skin. So I looked it up. I'm like, that's probably either too much salt, too much sugar, not enough exercise, not enough, say, omega-1, 2, or 3, or whatever the heck it is, omega something, in other words, fish oil or olive oil or whatever. You know what they told me? Use lotion. You're not using enough lotion.